How do you buy a gun? Howdy folks, you're watching Deuce, and that question is trending on Google. It has been trending on Google, well, ever since the great toilet paper apocalypse about a month or two ago. So people are Googling that because they don't know how to buy a gun. So in this video, we're going to go over how you buy a gun, where you buy a gun, what kind of gun to buy, the background check, what kind of ammo to purchase, and if there's any time left over, we're going to go ahead and look at a few little tips and tricks and details about firearm ownership. Let's get to it. Now, if you've already purchased your firearm, or 12, then the information in this video is going to be old news to you. You can still watch it for entertainment purposes, but this video is really geared toward those who have never purchased a firearm and do not have any friends or family members who are knowledgeable of the subject, so they don't have them as a resource. Thus, this video is being made. All right, there are 3 places you can buy a firearm: a private seller, a local gun store or sporting goods store, and the internet. First of all, let's talk about private sellers. Don't do it. In most states, it is legal for a private normal citizen to sell their privately owned firearm to another individual of the same state. That is pretty normal in most states, but again, do not do that, because if you're watching this video for informational purposes, don't do that because you lack the knowledge base to make a wise decision. You do not know enough about firearms to make a legitimately informed choice on whether this seller is trustworthy, whether the firearm is adequate for your needs or will actually function. You do not have that knowledge base, so just skip this. Move on to either a local gun store, a sporting goods store, or even the internet. Now, a local gun store, that is where I recommend you to start. They will have cases and cases of pistols, hopefully. There's been kind of a run on them, so they're usually low stock. But there'll be cases of pistols, shotguns, whatever, that you can test out, you can hold, you can manipulate. Some even have indoor ranges that you can go back and shoot many of these. Some don't, some do. But you'll get the feel of what you like and what you do not like. Now, the third option is the internet. And I know that there's a lot of misinformation about buying a firearm on the internet, in social media. So basically, forget almost everything you know about that. So when you purchase on the internet, they ship the gun to a local gun store, not to you, because you're not licensed for that. They have to ship it to the gun store, and then the gun store contacts you. You go in, they run all the background checks and everything. And if you don't pass the background check, you still pay a pretty hefty fee to ship that gun back to the internet site you bought it from, and they will charge you a restocking fee. I don't know what that is. Every site's a little bit different, but you need to know whether you're going to pass that background check before you hit the buy button, which again is the reason why I highly recommend going to a local gun store or sporting goods store first. A few details about the background check. When you decide to purchase a firearm, they will provide you a form to fill out, great big huge form, and on that form there's a bunch of questions. You're going to have to fill that out accurately and correctly, because that is not the background check. That is telling you what's going to be on your background check when they run it behind the scenes. So you better have that right. If you check yes on any of the bad questions, are you a felon? Are you a fugitive from justice? All that stuff. If you check yes on any of that, then don't bother going through the background check. It will come back dirty and you will have lost money, because many states you have to pay for the background check. The majority of people fail their background check because of their driver's license or their state ID, because they have forgotten to update their driver's license address or their state ID address to their current location. So many people move around and they don't bother to update your driver's license address. And that's an issue. You cannot purchase a firearm or pass the background check with an old address on your state ID. Can't do it. You have to have that sucker updated, which can take some time. because everyone knows how fun it is to go to the DMV. What kind of gun should you buy? Well, if you're watching this video, you're probably looking for a self-defense firearm, usually a home self-defense firearm. And in that case, you cannot beat the AR-15. By the way, all the firearms in this video are going to be completely unloaded. There's no ammo on the table and actually no magazines in any, okay, there's one magazine, but it is unloaded. So AR-15, this is the very best home defense firearm. Don't buy this. If you're watching this video for information purposes, you're not ready to own an AR-15. Learn to walk before you run. What you're going to want is a medium-sized pistol, not too small, not too big. You're looking for the Goldilocks zone. Medium-sized pistol, chambered in 9mm or 380 ACP. There are many options for ammo out there. 9mm, 380 ACP. This is going to be your first pistol for home defense use. You can also choose a 12 gauge shotgun. That's a pump action shotgun. That's also a very good choice for home defense. Somebody is probably going to tell you to buy a Shockwave, which is that short pistol-like 12 gauge shotgun. Don't get that. Get a real shotgun with a shoulder stock. So options for pistols. This one is too small. It is a very popular pistol for those of us who shoot a lot of ammo already, and that is the Ruger LCP. It is very tiny. As you can see, it disappears in the palm of my hand. This is meant for someone to carry on their person. Usually, most states, that requires a carry permit, which I have. Don't get the Ruger LCP as your first firearm, usually. What you're going to want is something like, let's see, I've got several of them here, a Smith & Wesson Shield, of course, unloaded. Smith & Wesson Shield is a very good firearm, very dependable, very reliable. It fits most people's hands very well, and it's not huge, it's not super heavy. The slide is a little bit difficult to manipulate. And that can be an issue for those of you with grip strength issues. You have lower grip strength. A lot of people have trouble getting these great big huge slides to rack open. This is an example of a pistol that's probably too big for a first-time buyer. And this is the Glock 34, which is just a big, huge thing. This is my competition pistol. You're not going to want a big, huge magazine like that. Get a normal stock magazine, whatever your state allows, and a medium-sized pistol. So the Smith & Wesson Shield, the Ruger SR9, that's a good one. If you have grip strength issues, you might want to look into a Sky pistol in 380, the Robot Quad Lock version. The slide is super easy to manipulate. This one is 380, so the recoil is not bad. A 380 is less powerful than a 9mm, but if it's in a medium-sized pistol, you can control that very easily. The Sky pistol is probably the smallest one I would recommend for new shooters. Also, if you have issues with grip strength, you can look at a medium-sized revolver. Do not get a little pug-nose revolver. Get a medium-sized revolver. This is a 3-inch barrel, all steel revolver there. You don't have to rack anything. The problem with these, though, are the trigger. The trigger is very heavy if you shoot it double action. Double action means you pull the trigger back and it actuates everything, and you don't have to pull the hammer back between every shot. You just pull the trigger and it cocks the hammer and rotates the cylinder. But if that's too much, you can pull the hammer back every shot. Here's an example revolver that you should not get if you're new to the shooting world. And this is an aluminum frame snub nose revolver. It has a very short barrel, which means it's going to be loud and harder to control. It's got a lightweight frame, which makes it about half the weight. It's at least half the weight of this larger all-steel pistol. But this thing is a hand cannon. That's a term that a lot of people will use, is hand cannon, because you really feel it. It hurts. Avoid any of these super lightweight, super short barrel revolvers. Get a medium-sized revolver like a Smith & Wesson or something like that. Ruger makes a good one. Just don't get something too small. Again, a medium-sized firearm is much easier to control for new shooters. So let's say you're not interested in buying a pistol, but you want home defense, so you're looking at shotguns. Again, these are all unloaded. This is a Mossberg 500. Highly recommended. This is it's a partner pump, which is a Chinese copy, a cheap Chinese copy of a Remington 870. The 870 pattern and the Mossberg 500 pattern is what you want to look for as a new shooter. There are no bells, there are no whistles. This is a 12 gauge. These are all 12 gauge variants. You load from the bottom. You have seen the Terminator movies. You load from the bottom and you pump it. You put it up against your shoulder, you pump, you pull the trigger, and pretty much it spreads out. Oh, let's see. If you shoot from one end of your bedroom to the other end of your bedroom, you're gonna have a spray pattern about this big or so. It does not kill everything in the room like you see in the movies. You have now purchased your first firearm. Now your question is, what kind of ammo should you buy? Well, you purchased your pistol or your shotgun for home defense use. So you're gonna want some home defense ammo. But first, you're gonna want some training ammo. Now the training ammo, I would recommend the cheapest full metal jacket. That's FMJ. You're gonna see, basically, if you bought a 9mm, it's gonna say 9mm FMJ is in full metal jacket. That basically just means it's not hollow point. It has a metal jacket over the hole into the bullet, which is basically a traditional bullet that you have seen in the movies, on TV or whatnot, or in person. They're the cheapest thing out there, and that's what you train with because it's the cheapest thing out there. For home defense use, you're gonna want hollow points. And I would recommend getting a box or two of those as well. Typically, they're more expensive. Usually they're much more expensive than the cheap training ammo, and they come in smaller boxes. So typically a box has 20 to 25 rounds of hollow points in there. Get a couple of boxes of those. Make sure they work in your firearm. Take them to the range as well, and at least run half of them through there, and then you know that you're good to go in case of emergencies. Because some hollow points do not run in some pistols. Some pistols just don't like some brands of hollow points. So make sure you test it out. And if you went shotgun for your home defense needs, then what you're going to want for your home defense ammo is 12 gauge double-aught buck. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy, because you can go down a crazy rabbit hole on what is the most effective 12 gauge ammo. Don't do it. I mean, do it for entertainment purposes, but don't bother. You're looking for something that's just standard and just works. And the last little bit about ammo, avoid plus P or plus P ammo. Just don't do it. Not at your stage of knowledge with firearms. You're gonna want just standard ammo, 38 special, 9mm, 380 ACP. Nothing plus P, that's basically a plus power. That's more powerful, higher power ammo, and you're just not gonna wanna do that. And lastly, my final notes. I cannot emphasize enough to take a firearms course, a shooting course, a safety course. Every single gun store out there will either A, offer the course themselves, or B, know where you can go take a great course. And it will cost some money, but it's well worth it. Well worth your peace of mind to know, to basically have gone to a shooting range with an instructor, and they're gonna go through the ins and outs of shooting, proper stance, proper hold, all that stuff, how to reload, how best to reload, what kind of mistakes they see in most people so then you don't repeat them. The amount of knowledge that you gain from going to a shooting course or safety course is well worth the money. And lastly, take any brand recommendations with a grain of salt. Glock versus Ruger versus Smith & Wesson. They all pretty much work. You buy a new one from a store, they're all pretty much going to be working right out of the box for you. Choose whatever works best for you initially. Just go with your initial instinct. It will probably be okay. Now later on you may branch out, but remember, brand recommendations from other shooters is like Ford versus Chevy or Honda versus Toyota. It's all in the eye of the beholder. Some have better attributes than others, some work better than others, but for the most part, they're all going to be fine. Don't fret over brand recommendations. Just get whatever works for you initially. It'll probably be the correct answer. Well guys, that's it for me today. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a like and go subscribe. A lot more is on the way. If you have any comments, questions, or show ideas, leave that in the comment box below the video. I try to get to as many of those as possible, so ask your questions there and I will answer as many as I can. If you want to stay on Deuce and Guns channel, go ahead and click on one of these two videos right over here, and that will keep you watching away. As always, you guys have a great day. See ya.